So shearing is basically just rows of gathering with stretchy thread, so it's very comfortable and it can be very flattering. I decided to do a very Valentine's themed fabric to make kind of a romantic top. So grab a couple yards of fabric, or in my case, my mom's old Valentine kaftan pajamas. Lay your material out flat. Grab a shirt that isn't too fitted and cut the sloped shoulder, the rounded armhole, and the sides to match. Then fold in half, making sure that there's double the amount of material so we have enough room for shearing. Grab a long ruler and start making lines starting halfway down the curved armhole. About 3/4 of an inch, as many rows as you would like. When you're stringing the elastic onto your bobbin, do it kind of lightly, but not too light. You're also gonna be in a basting stitch and you're gonna lower your tension. Top thread will just be a regular thread that matches your shirt. I start each row by back stitching it, and then as I sew, I make sure to pull straight any of the previously sewn lines. I also try to line up my presser foot with the previously sewn line as I stretch it in order to get clean, straight lines. Now that the front and back are both finished, this is how it will stretch. Lay the front and back together and sew at the shoulder seam. Grab more material and cut 2 rectangles out of it. Fold that rectangle in half, and on the fold, cut out a sleeve, making sure that there's plenty of room to create a peasanty sleeve or a balloon sleeve, which we will later gather at the wrists. Next, you're gonna cut 2 rectangles that are 6 inches wide and twice as long as your wrist. Fold them in half lengthwise and sew them just as you did the bodice, 3/4 of an inch apart. Once you have finished, check to make sure it fits, then line it up with the end of the sleeve and pull it to see how much this end of the sleeve needs to be gathered just slightly in order to match the sheared wrist piece. Mark the center of the sleeve bottom and the center of the sheared wrist piece and make sure it lines up as you sew. Pull the sheared wrist piece completely straight as you sew it to the bottom of the sleeve. Make adjustments as you go. Line the center of the top shoulder part of the sleeve with the center of the bodice's shoulder seam. Then sew it together. Turn it back inside out and pin and sew the sides completely together, from wrist to the armpit to the bottom. Or serge or zigzag stitch once done. Cut a very long rectangle piece that's double the length of your neck. I had to put 2 pieces together to create this. Zigzag stitch or serge all the lines, fold in half, and shear just like you did the wrist and the bodice. If you need to sew under the 2 sides, you can do that before you skip to the shearing part. But I cut them on the hem of the kaftan, so it worked out. Cut some more pieces that'll be around 48 inches long that are only about 2.5 inches wide. Fold in half, sew along the edge, and turn right side out. Sew it underneath the edge of the sheared neckline to create ties for a bow. Once you're done with that, find the center of the neckline with the center front of the bodice and pin right sides together and sew, joining the neckline with the bodice. If there's any extra room in the back, which I had just a little bit, I folded that part under and then flipped it back over to sew the elastic. I just did 2 more rows here. This is how it looks when it stretches. Now cut any extra threads off and iron the shearing and other parts, making it look more complete. If you need to hem the bottom, you can do so before you iron. I didn't need to because I cut it on the kaftan's natural hemline that was there. Another fun option is you can make this longer to be a dress, or you can add a sheared bottom. It's actually really cute. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really love doing this, and I'm glad that there's people out there that are interested in it like I am. Subscribe if you do want to see future ones, and I will see you next time.